To the Kenyan people, we have tried politicians, we have tried dynasties, we have tried political parties, we have tried coalitions, we have tried tribal kings, we have tried billionaires. Now, I humbly request you, try Stephen Owoko, the clergy, and I'll never disappoint. Thank you, Kenyan people. I am coming with a nationalistic vision, the vision for the nation of good and people-oriented. So people will vote me based on my vision and ability to transform those visions into reality. If any MP or MPs would like not to pass the bill that is pro-people, they will face the wrath of the citizen. It's not my problem. It was against them, the people versus the electorate. Because I am trying to impeach the president based on your imagination of selfish or like corporate, so it never work. Let me give you an example. We had the Dungu bill. There were very few women in parliament then, and that bill was likely against men. But when they read the bill, they were for it. So the relationship between them, these are cousins, and they know what they're doing. We are not one of them, and they continue working together. So the relationship is that behind the scenes, they are brothers and working in cahoot. But in the public galley, they might try to play PR that are not together. But in my policies that I'm going to provide a free comprehensive medical care, it will be funded by what we call sin tax. Sin tax means cigarettes, alcohol, and so on, and also luxurious taxes. When Magoha was leading the Nairobi University, he was able to build the university tower worth 2 billion, and he left that university without a loan, without a debt. Now, 10 years along the line, it owes 88 billion. Moi University is already closed. Egerton University, the lecturer is already leaving because of corruption.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Musungu Muliro, and this is Trans-African News Updates. And today we are at the 1998 Bomb Blast Memorial Center or Museum in Nairobi. And here with me is a very, very important guest. You know, 2027 is moving closer each and every minute. And we have so many people who aspire to lead the Republic of Kenya. And here with me is one of them. We are going to have a conversation with him, then he will share with us a lot of knowledge. As you can see, he's not a young man, so he has a lot of experience and a lot of things to tell us. So we will go straight to the point where he will introduce himself to us, then we keep to have our conversation. How are you, Mr. President?
I'm very fine.
Okay.
Yes, my name is Reverend Stephen Owoko.
Okay.
I'm running for the President of Republic of Kenya 2027.
Okay.
Yes.
For the sake of the people who are seeing you for the very first time, who is Mr. Owoko, Mr. President? Who are you? Can you just give us a short background of yourself?
I'm a Kenyan citizen, born in Siaya in the early 60s. I went to school in Uganda. Later on, I became a missionary. I've worked in many countries in Africa, West Africa, Central Africa, South Africa, and then I came back Kenya. I've been a businessman before, but now I am running for the president.
Okay.
Yes.
In very, very few words, maybe, how can somebody describe you? Are you an open-minded person? Are you a radical person, or are you a partisan person?
I am what I call a student of liberation theology. Liberation theology are those people who believe that the wealth of every nation should benefit the citizens because it is the wealth that is given by God to them for them to enjoy the plenty. So that is my school of thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to the point. Why the president? Why can't you run for Siaya MCA or Nairobi MCA where you reside? Why not MP? Why not governor? A governor has some money set aside for development, around 8 billion, or so. Some get even more. Why are you running for president?
Each one of us are enabled differently, talented differently. Even in the ring, the weights differ. And in every country where I come from, the fish rose from the head. Any country that succeeds into prosperity is because of the president. And any country that goes down is because of the president. I was in Uganda in the 70s, and I saw how a single man destroyed a nation, which was once the pearl of Africa. So the problem with Kenya is about the leadership at the top. And that's the problem that I want to solve, because I have that capacity. That is why I'm running for the president.
And why not? Why didn't you run for president before? Why can't you run for president in future? Why are you running for president now when one Daktari William Samoei Ruto is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces? Meaning in 2027 we'll be having Mr. Is it Owoko or Owoko?
Owoko.
Yes, Mr. Stephen versus President William Ruto and other people. Why now?
Our constitution is very clear. All elected posts last for 5 years. So we are having election, general election in 2027. And so anybody, when the seats shall be declared vacant, you are supposed to choose which one you. That is one. The second thing, the situation in this country is very dire. We have tried the political leaders, we have tried tribal leaders, we have tried the alliances of the billionaires. But instead of solving the Kenyan problem, the situation is becoming worse. And because of that, our leadership, the right leadership, emerges in the time of crisis. And this time we are facing the worst crisis in the history of our independence. And that's the time that I'm coming now at the right time, and the right person to solve the underlying problem which the current and the past government has failed to solve. So to me, this is the right time, and this is the time I'm so energized and the capability and capacity to run this time, not in the past and not in the future.
Who is this political leader, globally or locally, who has inspired your journey into running for presidency in the Republic of Kenya?
Let me name a few. One was Lee Hwan of Singapore. The second one, Thomas Sankara. And then Muhammad Gaddafi and Serase Khame, the first president of Botswana. To me, those are my role model. And the young men in Burkina Faso, of course, the history is written when we don't know where it's going to end. He may start well and end bad, but for currently, I think he's doing a good job. I'm planning to go there for benchmarking, but to see what he has been able to achieve within 3 years. So those are my role model. Okay. Yes.
We know running for president or the presidential office is a very expensive affair. And we know most of the people who have been running for office are billionaires and multi-billionaires. How are you going to fund your campaign?
What happened is that the presidency in the Republic of Kenya is being run by cartels, the billionaires. The salary for 5 years of the president is 84 million. 1.4 times 12 times 5. If you use $1 billion or 200 million to run for the president out of your pocket, the question is, how are you going to recoup that investment? That's the question that the media and the people need to interrogate. If you use $1 billion to earn a salary of 84 million in 5 years, then these people are not there to serve the public. They are there to control and to steal the resources. And that is why corruption is popping in this country like a popcorn. And that's why we give these people, we are selling national assets. We give the Adanis, because these are the financiers. They are the owners of the government, what we call the deep state. So it has been believed that is an expensive affair to deter any Kenyan citizen with a vision and ability to run so that he gets scared. That is not the reality. As I speak now, I've been to 42 counties visiting, meeting the people. It's not as expensive as they tell us. That's the issue. So I'm going to run, and tomorrow I'm hitting the road again. And in any case, I am selling what I have. It's a question of going to the marketplace. The Kenyan people, if they see my vision that is resonates well with them, they're going to fund me. And if not, then I reach where I reach and I continue. It means walking, riding on a bike, or going on matatu. That's how I'm going to fund my campaign.
Somebody would ask, what are these unique qualifications that Mr. Stephen has that can make us maybe elect him or make him the president of Kenya? What are some of these unique characteristics or things that you have, things that you want to do, your dreams? And again, do you have all the other qualifications that a president needs or a presidential candidate needs in terms of finances, educational background, and such like stuff?
I have what it takes, but what sets me apart is I have a man of virtue. 2, I have walked and felt the pain of the Kenyan people. As a clergy, I have buried the forgotten. I have cried with the widows, the orphans, the hurting, the joblessness. That means that impact has impacted upon me. I've cried with the one who are crying. I have rejoiced with those who are rejoicing. So I have that personal experience. Second thing, I'm a man of a virtue. I cannot steal any penny of the public money that is entrusted to me. The third one, I have a nationalistic vision for this country. The last but not least, I have cracked the code of solving the Kenyan underlying problems and the future emerging problems. That's what makes set me apart.
For the counties that you've already done your campaigns or sold your agenda to, so far so good, what are some of the challenges that you've met? Maybe have you gotten to a point where you felt like, this is too much? Or how has been the experience all through?
The zeal and the desire for a better, a great and a prosperous nation overrides my personal pains and sorrows and ridicules that I met along the way. Our ultimate goal, to make Kenya a better for the current and the future generation. It's not about me. It's not about still how I feel, how the discouragement. It's about the goal of making Kenya to rise and shine again. Because if that does not happen, we don't have a country. 15 years from now, Kenya will be 79.4 million citizens. We have 17 million people who are not employed. Now, those are the problems I want to solve. So it doesn't matter, the ridicule. And in any case, according to our constitution, you need a half of the registered voters. So if a half reject you, but a half accept you, +1, you are home and dry. So whatever I've come across is not something that I hold and then remember or gets me pain and sorrowful. No.
One day, I think where we met for the first time, you went to the podium and you started speaking, and some people were cheering you. Some people were supporting your candidature, your presidential candidature, and some people were murmuring, "This guy is a joker." As a human being, you have feelings, you have with your ambitions. How do you feel when somebody says that, this guy is not serious, this guy is a joker? In what position does this put you?
Everybody is 100% correct from where he or she sits, their perspective. Just the way we have 1 GB, 2 GB, 8 GB, We have a small mind, greater mind, and ordinary minds. So from what they see, they are right. From the angle and perspective of how they are supposed to analyze the person and the data, they are right in their way. There's this book called, the famous book by the Indians called The Six Blind Men and the Elephant. So each one was describing elephant according to where he or she touched. So they are just right from what they see. Because their imagination, the presidency belongs to a certain class of people, or certain level of people, or in terms of money, in terms of education, in terms of family. So they are right. But the issue is, I have a calling to be president. So it doesn't matter what people feel, they are right from where they sit.
In the Kenyan political scope, we have this tendency of kingpins, regional kingpins, yeah? We have the Mount Kenya kingpin. We have where we have Gachagua, Uhuru Kenyatta, and the other people, the discussion about kingpinship. We have the Western region where we have Natembeya and Moses Wetangula and Mudavadi. And recently we lost the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. And we know Raila Amolo Odinga was one of those people who had the key to making decisions of how politics goes in the Republic of Kenya. And I understand you also come from Siaya, where Raila was coming from. Do you feel like now that Raila Amolo Odinga is not there, maybe whatever the direction the people of Siaya will decide, or the leaders who have been left to take charge, whatever the decision will be made, maybe might interfere with your presidency? And I know for a fact, by the time politics get serious, the issue of where does this person come from will emerge. And I know, of course, at some point you'll stand and say, you know, my name is Stephen and I come from Siaya County. What do you think of that?
I'm running to be the president of all Kenyans. I'm not fighting to be a kingpin. No, that's the difference. Even if all my tribes were to vote for me 100%, it's not enough for me to secure a victory. And the question I've been asking myself, what did the late Prime Minister leave to the Kenyan, to the Siaya people, or to his followers? He left them a slogan called ODM. But the billions he left to his family, his children. I want to be the kingpin of the oppressed Kenyans. From Lamu to Busia, from Kericho to Garissa, from Homa Bay, the shores of Homa Bay, I have seen desperation. The other day, the lecturers, the most were striking. The doctors are striking. People are desperate. Those are the people whom I want to be my constituency, not based on tribe. I've been a pastor, I am a reverend, and a former missionary. I was there to serve, and I'm there, and I was there to serve all humanity, irrespective of their surname or where they come from. So this issue of tribal kingpin is for those who lack vision and capability. They hide under the tribe or under the religion or under a party. But a real warrior will go and tell people what he is made of and his vision. And that's what I'm going. So the issue of whether he was alive or not, I started running before we knew he would die. I started saying, I'll be president, and I went around. Actually, his death found me when I was in Nandi Hill, and I was suspended because of the mourning period. So him being alive or dead does not determine my vision for a better Kenya. He tried his part. May God rest him in peace. Now it is for us to continue, those who are still alive. That's right.
As we prepare to have a commercial break, I just want to ask you a question, and I know many other people will be asking this question. Different presidential candidates from different camps are working day in, day out to form alliances here and there we have the DCP and Jubilee, UDA, ODM, and other people. Maybe in your capacity, in your way of thinking of planning, do you feel like at some point you will collaborate with other people who believe in your dream so that you achieve your presidential goal?
The difference between the united opposition and the government is the same. They were once in KANU, then ODM, then Jubilee, then UDA, then now DCP, then DP. A few days ago, these people were in government. And as I speak now, others are still in court. They still want to be reinstated. They were the Secretary General of the, UDA. They were the Vice President of, they were the Attorney General, they were the Minister of Agriculture. Now, what makes them different? They were serving the government in different capacities. It's a matter of rebranding. Tomorrow I'll put a black shirt. I will still be a clergy. The next day I put a blue shirt. It's about me. We appreciate the fact that when they went out, they saw the light like Paul. And they're able to see what we were seeing and what we were agitating for. And anybody who is not against us is for us. But we have to be careful as a nation on whom we are going to give the responsibility of steering this ship through murky and troublous water. We are going to arrive safely to the shore with him. But I like the united opposition because we have one opponent that we want to make sure to get rid of from power as soon as yesterday. They are ready to, I'm welcome them to come and join me.
So can't join them.
To come and join me.
They come to join you.
To come and join me so that we fight this cause. They have been there before. And the scripture is very clear. You cannot put a new wines in an old wineskin, or put a new cloth and a patch an old cloth. It won't work. The new idea, these were the people who have brought us to where we are because they were part of the cabinet. They were part of those policies that gave us severe debts and unemployment and corruption and killing. They were part and parcel. So for now to come and say, because I'm not in government, I can do better, is a fallacy. But they can come and join me so that we get rid of the current regime. That's what I'm saying. I've no problem. My door is open. They can come and join me and we work together.
As we now go to the break now, we've seen politicians campaign, then by the time they get to some point, they back off, as it's evident in this by-election. Maybe if someone brings a bag to Reverend or Mr. Stephen, if somebody comes with a bag and tells you, you know what, have this bag and support us, can we see maybe that kind of situation or scenario in the near future?
We have seen what I call in politics horse trading. Because these people is about self-preservation. It's about their interests. They say politics is about interest, but in Kenya it's about personal interest or tribal interest. I'm saying I'm not running as a politician. To me, it is a call. It's a calling. I did my thesis on the value of humanity before the eyes of the deity. In the Bible, the price of a mad naked man was 2,000 pigs. I don't know how much a pig costs in your place, times 2,000. The other day, Kenyan paid 150 million to a potter in Yemen who was killed by a Kenya. They wanted 400 million. How much is the value of Stephen Owoko? And how much can you put on the table for me to compromise my virtues and principles? Mandela once told me, I was living in South Africa, that any man who changes his principles based on whom he's dealing with is not a leader worth trusting. I'm not here. I am unbuyable. I cannot steal money. I cannot be bought. I believe on my principles and virtue because I want to leave Kenya a better place than I found it.
If the President of the Republic of Kenya calls you, Bwana Stephen, come let's work, will you go?
This government is blood-based government. We have Jubilee, 3 ministers there that were fronted by Uhuru. We have the so-called experts that were fronted by ODM, the so-called expert. We have the UDA members, and we have the coalition of parties like Chap Chap. And within all these brains brought together, they have failed miserably to solve the cheapest and the easiest things of unemployment, health, education. How can I work in the government that is abducting, is killing, is stealing, is destroying our future and the future of the unborn? No, I'm not ready to defile myself with the king's meat.
And this is Musungu Muliro, and you are watching Trans-African News Updates. And here we are back with our guest, Mr. President, Mr. Stephen Owoko. Is that the correct pronunciation? Yeah. Karibu tena.
Asante sana.
Are you comfortable with the interview so far, so good?
You ask me anything you want. I'm a presidential aspirant and presidential material.
Ready to go to the State House.
Actually, I'm naming my cabinet in 2 weeks or 3 weeks time.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm naming my cabinet. Already I have my lineup.
Is that not too early?
I'm ready to be president as yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why my cabinet is ready.
Maybe don't you think that naming a cabinet before elections is a bad omen?
Bad omen to those who are doing trial and error. Those who are not sure, they don't know what they want, just trial and error. But somebody who knows where he wants the country to be and timelines, I've gotten the right people to help me carry the vision. That's why I have my cabinet.
You are sure in 2027 you are going to win the election?
I am not gambling, because I have what Kenyans need. We have seen politics, we have seen tribal alliances, we have seen the billionaires, but the Kenyans, the other day I was in Kisumu, and Kenyans are eating bones, mgongowazi, not mgongowazi. After mgongowazi, you get some meat, you make them, then those bones. Is that what the citizens should be eating, an era in a land of abundance like this? No. So if they want to continue into slavery, in servitude, it's up to them. But those who want freedom, they know where the freedom is. So I am there to tell them that this is your freedom, and I am the man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's now get to the field. Let's get to the ground. You've said that, you want to change this country from a consumer country to a manufacturing or a producing country.
Yes.
First of all, what do you mean by this, for the sake of a layman, a person who does not have the all-round information about how things go?
What I mean is that from your shoes, your socks, your trouser, and I bet your underwear, your shirt, come from outside.
China, to be specific.
Those one will produce here. So that what we consume, this chair I'm sitting on, this flag here, so we are going to produce what we consume. That means, and then the rest we export. That means from a consumer nation to a producer, a net importer to a net exporter. Okay. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Each and every person has, when somebody speaks of some point, this point should be coming from somewhere. Maybe which specific country or a set of countries do you maybe look up to that, I want this country called Kenya to be at least like this?
No, I'm going to have a hybrid. As a Kenyan, I think like American, but we will build like Europeans, but do business like Chinese. What I mean, an American is what we call the eagle's eye. They're able to see opportunities from far, from where they are. You see, that's why they're coming for our rare earth metal in Simba Hill, which is worth over 30 trillion, but the cheats are saying it is worth 12 trillion. They saw it. So we must think into consolidating the resources and bringing them here for our good. But when it comes to manufacturing, we manufacture quality like Europeans, but do what we call penny profit, sell in volumes and dominate the world in terms of manufacturing. So I'm going not a specific country, but a blend. And from that one, Kenya will become a superpower in its own, not in only in terms of athletic, superpower in terms of economy.
Why do you think this has not happened so far so good? And how will you make it happen?
Because we have leaders who are blind. These leaders are very blind, visionless, and only greed. And when a person is led by greed, he becomes blind to the realities. He's not able to see. But we need leaders who has the eyes of their understanding. It means if you close your eye like this, you see that along the Kenyan coast, we have 20% of the world tuna. You close your eyes like this, you see that among the Lamu, we have 50 blocks of oil and gas. You close your eyes like this, you see that a Kenyan coffee, 1 kilo, is being sold for 50,000 Kenya shillings. You close your eyes, you see that 1 Kenyan kilo of tea is sold at New York for 29,000, and then you say, what should be done so that those money is brought back and it helps the farmer? So we need leaders who are able to see and to hear and transform the realization, the actualization into reality.
It is over 50 years, or maybe it was 60 or 60, since this country got independence. And something I've been asking myself is, why are we still importing cars? Do you mean that over 50 million Kenyans cannot make, or rather manufacture a car? Of course, we cannot invent because cars already exist. We cannot, you mean over 50 million Kenyans cannot manufacture a car? Over 50 millions cannot, manufacture planes and such like stuff. What do you think can be the reason to why we don't even have phones that have been manufactured, not assembled, manufactured in Kenya? What do you think can be the reason? And as a president, what can you do to make sure that we have cars manufactured in Kenya, and planes manufactured in Kenya, phones manufactured in Kenya, and other tech items manufactured in Kenya?
I want to give you a homework. Go to Kenya Railway as you cross that bridge, the footpath. On the left, there's called Kenya Numeric Complex something. There are 3 cars there, Nyayo Pioneer 1, Nyayo Pioneer 2, Nyayo Pioneer 3. Those were 100% manufactured in Kenya in 1990. But the Minister of Trade by then was bribed to suspend by the Japanese. And that's why that project stopped. We have a machine that we bought in the 90s for 5 billion Kenya shillings from, from Brussels, I can't remember. It was there, that makes engine blocks. It's there. The other day I hear the president wants to sell it, or they want to buy it for themselves. In 1991 or 92, if my memory serves me well, we made a plane in Naivasha. The only thing that was imported was from Cessna. They imported an engine from Canada. But the whole plane was made here in Naivasha. It was on the shore. Now what happens is this. Those from manufacturing countries, they buy our leaders here to stop us from manufacturing, because once that is done, Kenya is geographically positioned to take control of from eastern Congo up to Mozambique and all the way to Djibouti because of the position. So if Kenya becomes a manufacturing hub, European and Chinese and Asians will have a problem because we will dominate the market. So there is a cartel. This way say the cartels that stops us from doing that. That's why we are not manufacturing. We have the ability. We are able. The other day we started manufacturing, was it like Kipia or Nyandarua? There was a guy who was doing some cars there. We made motorcycle Jekwat. So these things that's been happening before. But they are still bond because of the cartels. They don't want us to develop.
So as a president, maybe what can you do to make sure that this progresses to the next stages?
We have iron ore in Kwale, in Taita, in Siaya, and Tarakaniti. We export it all. They make engines, they bring us. We have these materials for making electric batteries for the cars and mobile and so on. Kenya has 971 minerals which we are exporting raw. Magadi soda, for example, is here, serving the whole world. We have only 2 of this kind in the whole world. So what I'll do is that's why I'm saying I'm going to make Kenya industrialized nation when I take over. And that's why I've set up my cabinet, those who are going to run that according to my vision. Because the cabinet should help you fulfill your vision. But what happens is that we have presidents who are clueless, who are based on the penny profit. The 12 trillion, they think is a lot of money of the GDP, so they want to steal. But just spare us a little amount. We have to grow this economy into a multi-hundreds of trillions so that people become billionaires if necessary. So they are stealing from the scratch because they are poverty. They are people of poverty mentality. Yes.
Now, let's go to another point. In terms of transport, how, as a president, how would you revolutionize the transport sector? And as you give your take, can you please talk about our expressway, one of the best expressway, and the very good train that we are having, the SGR, one of the best trains in the world?
You amuse me. Express Highway, or SGR, was 3 times the cost, or was supposed to be. The same company built 2,000 kilometers from Djibouti to Addis, 2-lane electrical. The same company built another one in Senegal and built another one, I think, from Abuja to Lagos. And the same time, another company built another SGR from Johannesburg to Pretoria, if I get it right. The same company from China is building electric from Dar es Salaam to Mwanza. Now let me put in this perspective about the SGR. SGR is part of the China Belt and Silk Road to help Chinese sell their good in the hinterland. We are not supposed to pay a penny. It is not our business to help China transport their goods. The China, when I become president, will refund the money for the SGR, and they will fund the other one to make them take their goods to Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, because it's the Chinese goods. Why should we destroy our economy to make China process and transport their goods to the neighboring country at our own cost? No. It was over, exaggerated. The Chinese should run it, refund the money, and build it. So the SGR loan, we will negotiate to be refunded to us. It's not our business. Second, they dumped us with the diesel engine. This is an era of electrical engine. The people who signed those can only be termed what Magufuli called madmen. When he read about the agreement of the Chinese building a port in Bagamoyo, he said only madmen would sign such agreement. You get what I mean? So SGR, diesel in this era, they dumped us those engines that they didn't need, actually refurbished ones. And then it is serving the Chinese. The East African Railway was built up to Kisumu, up to Kilembe, to bring goods to Mombasa to go and fuel industries in Manchester City. We never paid a penny. It was the British for them to transport. It's like you are putting a portion mill somewhere and you are telling me to foot the cost. It's your portion mill. It's your infrastructure. You shouldn't charge me for that. So the whole thing, the whole complex is wrong. Now, when we talk about the roads, the express highway, you look at the express highway, divide 88 billion by 19 kilometers. You find that 1 meter is costing about 4.1 meter is costing around 4.6 or something million. Where on earth? Unless you're building on the ocean. A ripoff. You just do a calculation. 88 billion divided by 19. Look at it very carefully. At every entry point, they made sure that the road is narrow. There's always a jam. So that you get tired, you get agitated, you get angry, you join the express highway. And whenever there is an exit, it is wider. So they have already caused a mess. For example, between Nyayo to town, they have already made sure that there's no room for expansion. Yet Mombasa Road, Rongai, coming all the way. So in years and years to come, we have that mess. That jam will never end. Because you cannot expand it. There are strong pillars on both sides. Go to the entry near Lion's Place. The same thing. So these people are very wise when they're dealing with the fools like us. It's their interest. In any case, it is exaggerated. Number two, they have already messed our road. You cannot expand the express highway. The third, they're taking that money, every money they collect to China, and then we say there's no money in circulation. Those are what we call the foolish economical policies, according to Bill Clinton. And these are the problems we want to solve. We are dealing with people who cannot see beyond 5 years.
Mr. President, how will you correct this once elected into office?
We are going to correct so many mistakes. Some we will improve, some will correct, but we are not saying that all the things that were done were wrong. We will take evaluation. Others will improve, others will abandon altogether. But I take over, we will do what we call BOG, quantity, how much it costed. We will pay them off. We cannot allow the Chinese or any foreign to come and exploit us on the roads. No, that should not be allowed. There are certain investments that we should not allow, that are not allow foreigners to come, because it's directly taking profits and monies that are supposed to be here in the bank to serve the economy. I'll buy it off, but we'll do the right costing. Okay. Yes.
Maybe is there a way that you think of modernizing the transport sector in the Republic of Kenya as a president?
Very well. From Nairobi to Nakuru, I'm planning that we'll have a 12 lane. A 12 lane. Mombasa the same, with the service lane, so that Nairobi to Nakuru is 150 kilometers. When you are driving at 100 kilometers or 150, it should take you 1 hour. It takes 3 hours. That's a waste of time. I once traveled 600 kilometers, actually to be specific, from Durban to Joburg. A 600 kilometers. And we were driving at 200 to 240, now Mercedes Benz. Within 3 good hours, the break at Soweto. That's where we were going from I don't know. We were driving at 200. So if you take this lane, it is a lane. The thicker It's called a village bypass. It's not a super highway the way they tell you. It helps just for the people, the village bypass to create, if you are going to Muthaiga, you are going to Roster, to help you beat the jam. It's not a super highway. A super highway is where you do 200 to 360. If you look at our modern cars, the speedometer runs from 200 to 280, even to 300. But in Kenya, you are supposed to do maximum of 110. We don't have any super highway. So we are going to build super highway. From here to Mombasa should take at least or at most 3 hours.
But the president negotiated for the construction of the, several lane road from Nairobi to Mombasa. The other time he was in the United States of America. Isn't that President Ruto's way of maybe working towards the same dream that you're thinking about?
He negotiated nothing. It is a zero sum. He is already selling the Mombasa-Nairobi highway to private entity. They were supposed to build what we call public-private partnership. And then they built that road at a very exorbitant cost. Then what they do? They put toll to recoup their investment. We already have road fueling fund. Why do we need to give somebody to build road? We only need to expand it. The amount of road, the cars that travel from here to Mombasa per day, and the amount of money we get in tax is enough for us to construct a super highway to Mombasa. That's what we call kuuza Nchi. How do you give Mombasa, which is the gateway to Africa, to Central Africa, to Lagos? How? Unless you are insane. Those are the nonsenses that I want to deal with when I become president. Okay. So he negotiated for nothing. Those people came with a proposal, and they have to get the cut because these people are so blind. They don't see what's going to happen in the future.
Yes, my people, this is Musungu Muliro, OGW, and this is Trans-African News Updates, a platform where we go about the continent of Africa and across the world, getting to understand issues to do with the leadership, that is democratic leadership, dictatorial leadership, plus any other form of leadership. And today we are having a great conversation with a great leader, a man who wants to defy all the odds and the norms to become the president of Kenya, a man from the altar, a man from the church, a man who wants to do great things for the Republic of Kenya, for the society, for the community, across all divides. Karibu tena.
Asante sana.
We've been having a conversation about several things, but I want to, before we go to the next point, I want to ask you something, and I would wish to have a very honest answer from your perspective. In the Republic of Kenya and in any form of leadership, where we have the issue of impeachment or the possibility of impeachment at hand, the head of state or whoever is to be impeached makes sure that he has a majority of the people on his or her side to make sure that impeachment cannot be a possibility. For instance, according to our 2010 constitution, one of the ways through which the president can be ousted from power is through impeachment by a majority. And you are a man of your word. You are a man who sticks to what you believe is correct and is right. You give people, as you've said, you give people what they need. And no, you don't concentrate on a few greedy fellow leaders. So in any case, inshallah, tomorrow is not known. You become the president of the Republic of Kenya. Would you by any means compromise your virtues, your leadership values, and maybe bend to some MPs just in order to make sure that they do not impeach you as early as the first year into office if you don't abide by what they want?
I am coming with a nationalistic vision, the vision for the national good and people-oriented. So people will vote me based on my vision and ability to transform those visions into reality. And our constitution, certain bills has to be passed by the parliament. If let's say I say I want to create 5 million jobs for the young people, and that bill has to be passed in parliament, and then the parliamentarians don't want to pass it. We have seen in Kenya, in Kenyan context, the people, the sovereign power belongs to the people. Last time you saw, we told them, don't pass the finance bill. They were sent messages. Those who decided to pass the bill face the wrath of the electorate, home and in parliament. That is where we are. If any MP or MPs would like not to pass the bill that is pro-people, they will face the wrath of the citizen. It's not my problem. It was against them, the people versus the electorate. Now, let's come to the impeachment. There are parameters for impeachment. Violating the Constitution, that's one. Abuse of power, that's two. Or corruption, or nepotism. If I don't do any of those, on what basis will you bring the impeachment motion? Because the impeachment, you must bring the accusation or the allegations before the parliament. They have to be debated. The accused person has to defend him or herself with the lawyers, and it has to be proven beyond any doubt. Now, if none of those is available, and you want to impeach the president based on your imagination, it won't work at all. It won't work at all. The next time you'll see people, the Kenyan electorate are a bit different. They're not fools. They'll ban that parliament. Because you are trying to impeach the president based on your imagination of selfish or like corporate. So it never work. Let me give you an example. We had the Dungu bill. There were very few women in parliament then. And that bill was likely against men. But when they read the bill, they were for it. We had the Mutudo bill, which is about alcohol. But most of the parliamentarians drink. But when they read about it, they said, there's something worth passing. So it depends which bills are you bring to parliament. But you see, the bills which need the parliamentarians to be bribed, like you want to sell Kenya Pipeline, which is making profit. So why do you sell that asset that is not loss-making? So you have to bribe them because you have some under-dealings, some interest against for the Kenya Pipeline. So you have to bribe them. That's the difference. But once you bring the bill, I want to build roads. We don't want to borrow. We are going to do this and this for the national good. Who is that MP who will dare? And in any case, you are voted by 10 million, and single MP who is voted by 50 or 100 million, 100,000, wants to bring an impeachment. How will it work? So if I don't violate the Constitution, abuse of power, corruption, or nepotism, what basis will you bring them the impeachment points out? So I'm not, it's not even in my slightest imagination at all. And in any case, somebody say the only thing to fear is fear. Okay. So I don't fear about it.
In very few words, how would you describe the relationship between President William Ruto and his MPs? If I say his MPs, I know you know what I mean. Members of his party, UDA, and probably the brothers of the broad-based government, the ODM members. How would you describe their relationship? Do you think we've now gotten to the place of Ndiomze, where MPs will just be saying yes and yes? We've had such a situation just a few months, if not weeks ago, where some members of parliament were crying that, Mr. President, we passed your bills that you said, you said. So how would you describe that?
As I say, let me put it this way. The stem is the same. The branches are different. You cannot say the fruit of this branch is bitter or sweeter than the branch is the same. I say these people are one and the same. They only come in different jerseys. Today is in UDA, the next day is in ODM, the next day is, DP, the next day is in DCP. They're one and the same. And they're talking about, we passed your bills. Those bills were the president to serve, as I said, selling Kenya Power, selling national assets. Those were his bills, because he had interest in those things. So those were his bills. They passed for him at a cost, So the relationship between them, these are cousins, and they know what they're doing. We are not one of them, and they continue working together. So the relationship is that behind the scenes, they are brothers and working in cahoot. But in the public galley, they might try to play PR that are not together.
I don't know if you are comfortable talking about this, but if you're not, it's okay. But I would ask, just the other year, we had the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, impeached. Some people felt like, the Gachagua was wrong. And some people say that, this impeachment was politically charged, considering the speed at which it was executed. So, should it be that the thing was politically charged, the impeachment was politically charged? Do you think, as a president, you can also have this a form of impeachment that is politically charged? Maybe your opponents are pushing MPs to impeach you as a president.
Let me just say from what they said. The president told us that Gachagua wanted 10 billion. Gachagua tells us that the president was giving him 2 billion. Both of them. So it means they differed on how much the costs. So it was a matter of trading. Transaction. So the whole thing was transactional. Behind the scenes, when you see two men, let me talk of men fighting, they either fight for power, money, or women. So it's one of those that they differed on. But I bet it might have been money.
Well, let's go to the second last question. As a president, Mr. Stephen Owoko, how would you revolutionize our health system as a president of the Republic of Kenya? And how would you rate the SHA, the SHIF, the NHIF? And how would you rate in terms of percentage? Where do you think we are as a nation in terms of healthcare?
Where we are, everybody knows where we are. SHA, SHI, NHF. In Kenya, we always want to reinvent the wheels, like the national, affordable housing. We have National Housing Corporation. We don't need to. We have National Insurance Fund. We have Kenya Industrial Estates, so you don't need to do what we call industrial parks. But in my policies that I'm going to provide a free comprehensive medical care, it will be funded by what we call sin tax. Sin tax means cigarettes, alcohol, and so on, and also luxurious taxes. If you want to import a car worth 50 million, you will pay 100%, because you can imagine how many avocados are those. We only sell coffee, avocados, and then you want to use the same amount to import a luxury goods for your comfort. You want to put on a watch for 30 million. I will tax luxury, and those are what we're going to fund my medical, my medical. But also we have three parts. One, we are going to deal with what we call alternative medicine.